I want to use this particular video this morning to try to do what I can to educate for those who may not know. Because it is key in the time that we're living in. Because today, rather than people functioning on facts of the way things really truly are, and how we came to a certain point and perspective in our lives, people have this uncanny ability today to just remain closed-minded, and they defend ignorance on an unprecedented level and scale. All right, let's deal with the word racism for a second. All right, listen to me. First of all, number one, if we're going to use the history of the world, and if we're going to use the scriptures to define that history of the world, or just in general, first, there's a man, a German philosopher by the name of Johann Blumenbach. In the 1600s, he started defining people by race. And the race that he started defining people by was by the color of their skin. And that's how he defined the different categories of people. All right. And then we started receiving the designations of Caucasoid, Mongoloid, and Negroid. Okay. The Caucasoid, Caucasians, meaning up there in the Northern Europe area. Mongoloid, Asia, over in the Asiatic people, China, Japan, Philippines, all that other stuff. Negroid, commonly is what is called the Middle East, Northeast Africa, that's Israel, and the continent of what is been renamed Africa by Leo Scipius Africanus. Before then, it was known as the land of Ham. All right. So he gave us those three designations. And then countries, the English countries that are dominating and ruling the world, that changes the thought and perspective of things, have taught this in the books, and people have just ran with it. Now, if we use the scriptures, and for those of us who believe in it, okay, who believe in the Bible, over in Bereshit, meaning Genesis, the 10th chapter, the classifications and designations of men are totally different than the perspective that is all in our minds today. You see, I hate this spirit of racism that is presented today. I cannot stand it. Because from the scriptural perspective, they have never, ever, ever, the Bible has never, ever, ever defined people based on the color of their skin, what it was or what they didn't have. Meaning if you were a melanated people or not. The Bible didn't talk like that. The Bible always defined people based on nationality. All right. And then of course those nationalities came from the sons of Noah. And they were defined as Shem, Ham, and Japhet. All right. And under each one of those sons, when you go to Bereshit, the 10th chapter, Genesis, the 10th chapter, now this is a history lesson as well as a little geography in here, okay? Under each one of those sons' names, you have what has been modernly defined as the Caucasoid, the Mongoloid, and the Negroid, except they were, in the Bible is telling you the different nations, and how, and what category of one of the sons of Noah that they fell up under. And this is the reason why there's so much confusion today as who are Yah's chosen people. Because the truth is that God does have a chosen people. It's just not the people that you have been made to believe because of the mental gymnastics, because of the race baiting, because of the replacement theology, and because of the ideals and sentiments that conquering nations put forth to twist, warp, and distort your mind and mold it into their perception of what they call reality. And they give you a theology. And then people just run with it because nobody wants to be a student. Now, what does this have to do? Be it secular or be it religious. Bottom line, I've told you, if you listen to me, I said it once, said it 1,000 times. You're not going to have a nation. You're not going to have a cultural society without politics and religion. You're not going to avoid it, period. Because the ideology, or let's say the theology, it is the moral compass of the way that particular nation defines itself. And that's why it separates itself from one to another, because it has a moral compass. And if you look at the world today, so divided and everything, it's all messed up. It really truly is. Now, over in Exodus 12:38, the Bible that speaks about a mixed multitude came up out of Mizraim. Mizraim is modernly called Egypt today. Notice, a mixed multitude, and listen to me very closely. A mixed multitude is someone other than the Israelites, because the content and the concrete evidence of what the Bible is speaking about is Israel as a nation. So when it says the mixed multitude, that means there was a mixed multitude. That means there were people of other nationalities with the Israelites that came up out of Mizraim and crossed the Sea of Reeds, all right, which has commonly been defined by you called the Red Sea. All right. The Most High didn't discriminate then, but today man has done a lot of discrimination. And these mixed multitudes were not only strangers and foreigners, but they were counted as Israelites. We don't do that today. No, I mean, you may not do that today, your churches, your assemblies, the world's governments, or whatever it is. But I just quickly gave you the truth. That's the reason why I can't get involved with all of this racism junk, because it's nonsensical. Let's just tell the truth. Racism or racial divides, as is defined by today, is there for one purpose and one person alone. Is to keep people divisive, keep them divided. Not only divided, watch this, so that people can always be at war with each other. Now, the truth is, we would like to think today that, okay, let's just go ahead with the thought. America, you have Iran, Iraq, Russia, China, Japan, and all these other people. We would like to think that these people are all different people. All right? And in their own right, they are. But the truth is, in every single culture, you had the Mongoloids fighting the Chinese in there. You got, let's say, over here in this land that is called America. You know, it's been redefined. Amerigos Vespucci, excuse me. All right? But you had the different tribes even over here. You know, the Cherokees fighting the Blackfoots, and Blackfoots fighting the Choctaw, and the Choctaw fighting the Seminoles, and the Seminoles fighting everybody. In other words, and even in the white European countries, where you got the Celts, the Danes, the Gauls, the Vikes, the Brits, the Saxons, Wessex, and all these other people, they even fought among themselves for supremacy and rights and territorial rights. This is the stuff, and so today, you got this melting pot of confusion called America, and we like to think that, okay, America, and we're against the whole world. We're the world's lone superpower, which that is the truth. And we think that we're no longer fighting under racial divides that was defined for us in the 1600s by the German philosopher Johann Blumenbach. But that's the truth, because that is their whole sole purpose and reasons why we have so many wars and factions. Because, I mean, nations within themselves have always had inwarring and infighting. You know, biologically, the ecosystem, there has always been a weeding out process. All right. But if you got a mixed multitude coming up out of Mizraim, crossing the Sea of Reeds and stuff, and they were keeping the laws, the statutes, commandments, the instructions, the rules, and the guidelines, I know it's a mouthful, then that's clearly telling you something that nobody else wants you to know, is that Yahweh put no difference between them, or the Most High, you call him the Lord thy God. He put no difference between the Israelites then and them, except by the designation of who Israel was. And then guess what? If they kept the law, statutes, and commandments, they could be an Israelite too. What today is we have division based on the theology, the idiotic theology, and the culture has given it to us. And it's obvious that you can't erase history, that there's been a people that has purposely been set up to destroy other nations. You have to know prophecy on that. Okay, so I said all that to say, you see the reason why that is nonsensical, is stupid as hell? Because the truth is, a seed produces after its own kind. All right, so you can't mix the seed of a man with a baboon and get a bam man because it just ain't gonna happen. And that in itself is against the law of nature. So regardless of what people's colors are, if a seed produces after its own kind, and that is the truth, regardless of if it's black as the blackest night when the moon is not shining, or if it is white as the whitest cloud, you put them two together, it's going to produce an offspring. That's just the truth. So the Bible, the scriptures, history, from the very beginning, it never did define people by what color they were. It defined them by their nationality. And that nationality defined it moralities. It defined it convictions. It gave us civil government. It gave us the rules for society. And each one of those societies had different people back then. Polytheistic. Some people think they're monotheistic today, but they're really polytheistic, like Christianity. It's a polytheistic religion. Even though they tell you they full of monotheism. You just have to be able to take the blinders off your eyes and stop looking out of the lenses that the world and the schools give you and start using self-autonomy and thinking for yourself. Now, I know I said a lot this morning. I just thought I'd just give a quick history class. I got to go. Have a good day.